We're going to get into a couple spoilers for the episode that did come out last night. It's all over the internet. If you're on the internet, if you're on YouTube, you're probably seeing it already, but I did just want to get into that. The point about Clone Wars and Rebels is very true. If you're a Clone Wars and Rebels fans, you're probably loving a lot of stuff that's in Ahsoka because a lot of it is like very much directed at you. In fact, I would argue that almost the entire purpose behind this episode of Ahsoka was just to see things that we've already seen and lessons that we've already seen in Clone Wars, this time in live action. But obviously it has the added benefit of pulling at everyone's heartstrings with Hayden Christensen. Hayden is awesome. A lot of people have a lot of love for Hayden, and I think he gave a really good performance in this episode of Ahsoka. And I think the vast majority of people that see it are probably going to like it. And they do a really good job of making you feel like, man, you really need to care about Ahsoka because of how important she is to Anakin or how important Anakin is to her. And that's the entire goal of it. That's always been the goal of this, is to make you care about Ahsoka because you care about Anakin. And I wanted to go through a couple of the images that we've seen. So after episode 4, when Ahsoka falls into the water and is either dying or World Between Worlds or something, we do get to see probably about 15 to 20 minutes of her in this essentially dream sequence, going through and remembering things that Anakin's taught her and trying to deal with shit. Of course, the lesson is basically, hey, you either fight and live or you die. I don't know why she needed to wait this long to get that lesson, but I think, you know, there's obviously some deeper meaning behind it. But a lot of what they did was just recreate Clone Wars stuff that we've already seen in Clone Wars with Anakin. You get to see him. Here's a couple shots from the episode. You get a young Ahsoka. You get the recreation of the scene of Anakin and Ahsoka looking at each other. You get him in his Clone Wars armor. You get Siege of Mandalore. You get a glimpse of Rex. Here's kind of a good comparison to how Hayden looks in that versus his Clone Wars armor. Hayden looked good. Hayden was awesome. Just being real, Hayden gave a great performance, like undoubtedly.
Sure.
There's also, I will give credit to Dave Filoni when I think there's reason to give credit. There was some really cool cinematography moments in this. Watch this here as she's watching Clone Wars Anakin walk into the flames. Watch this. You get that silhouette of Vader.
That is cool. That is actually pretty cool.
It is like, exactly. Like, regardless of what you think about the episode, regardless of if you think it was necessary or if it was just thrown in there from whatever, the cinematography is fucking cool. I would say that this one is even cooler right here.
Nice.
It's cool, right?
That is awesome.
There was some very cool cinematography moments from Dave Filoni in this episode. Whether it is a near-death experience or there was actually something going on, it wasn't all in Ahsoka's head, that's kind of left up to interpretation in a way. But at the end of the day, this was all basically for people that are fans of Clone Wars to see stuff that you've seen before in live action. And if you care about Hayden, you probably think it's really fucking cool. And it was cool to see Hayden like this. And I'm sure it was awesome for him to do this. But in terms of, did they really cover any new ground, anything like that? No. Star Wars at this point has just become self-referential. It's like, oh, hey, I remember that happening in Star Wars and they just did that here. Hey, I remember that shot from Phantom Menace. They just recreated it right here. That's kind of what Star Wars has been, as opposed to really breaking any new ground with any new stories that people care about. And this is all an effort to get you to care about Ahsoka. And in the end, spoiler, she beats Anakin in a duel. Ahsoka beats Anakin in this duel and decides that she still wants to live. And that's when she kind of regains consciousness and gets saved while she's in the water. And then it gets reborn as Ahsoka the White, just like Gandalf, Josiah.
Wow.
Because Dave Filoni has always seen Ahsoka as a Gandalf-like character. But obviously, when you have shots like this, when you have Hayden back doing some of these like signature moves we've seen, that tugs at everybody's heartstrings because so many people care about Anakin. That's the bottom line. That's what they wanted out of this episode. And I think that Clone Wars fans and Rebels fans, for the most part, are going to be really happy with some of the shit that they've seen from this. I know you've been a little bit checked out on all of it, but what was, when I told you to go look at the, like, some of the sequences and stuff, what was your thoughts immediately when you saw some of these shots of Hayden?
Yeah, I mean, I saw the one of like the flashes, and then we see a little bit of like the Darth Vader version of Anakin, and that was really cool. I don't know really anything about the actual show, to be honest, because I'm just so checked out of Star Wars at this point, but just seeing like that image in its isolation, that was really cool. I mean, it was awesome to see. And I'm just gonna say, you know, if she did end up beating Anakin, I'm just gonna write that off as a dream sequence.
To me, the way the world between worlds kind of collapsed and turned into water makes me think it's all in Ahsoka's head. But there's a part like Jason Syndulla can feel what's going on, that there's like a lightsaber battle going on and shit like this. So what does that mean? Did that mean he was just seeing the manifestation from what was going on in Ahsoka's head? I don't understand how she would have got into or out of the world between worlds. I think it's all just her getting over this last hurdle once again that she should have already overcome, that has to do with Anakin. To me, it doesn't really add anything new that we haven't already seen her deal with before, to be honest with you. But obviously, it's a cool opportunity. Probably the last time we're going to see Hayden Christensen in Star Wars, I would imagine. Unless they once again dig him up to insert him somewhere else. Anakin's story is done. That's the thing. Anakin's story is done. Anakin's story has been told. Any way they use him now is just trying to fit pieces into other places where we already know what his story is.
Right.
That's kind of how it feels to me.